All right, let's get to the next topic here because we also got to talk about. Obviously, we all know by now we've lost the first round pick. Can we trade though for the number one pick? And I hate that I used Joe Shane's picture for this thumbnail, by the way. But I'm like, you know what? Screw it. He's still the GM for now, at least. Got to use him. So I'm sure many of y'all know there's an evaluation chart that's kind of used for draft picks. It's kind of a way to figuring out if you got the proper value in a trade. Now, typically, especially when you want a number one, number two kind of pick, you're going to way the hell overpay. Just fair warning. Way the hell overpay.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm looking at. The Patriots pick number one, is 13,000 points. The Titans pick number two, 2,600 points. The Browns pick number three, 2,200 points. The Giants pick 4, 1,800 points. We got to figure out 1,200 points just to meet the need to trade up at that point to number one. Or we need 800 points to figure out how to trade up to pick number two at that point, depending on how you want to go with it. Because I think a lot of people are talking about, the Patriots, would they trade? What if the Patriots don't want to trade? What if the Patriots screw it? No, we're staying here. We're taking Hunter. We're not taking the risk somebody else takes him. These are all possible legitimate things because they might say that all of a sudden the Titans don't like these quarterbacks and want to take one too. Or the Titans don't feel like Shedeur Sanders wants to go there and don't like Cam Ward or something. I mean, there's a lot of options here, guys. But again, we're looking at 1,800 points. We need to get up to 3,000 points. The other picks we have in this draft, guys, aren't nearly as much. That's the way it just works. It is a huge drop off from round 1 to round 2. There's a decent drop from round 2 to round 3, and so on and so forth. So round 2 is worth 550 points. That's pick number 35 we have right now. Pick 66 worth 280 points. So it doesn't take a genius to figure out the math. That pick 1, 2, and 3 basically gets you right around pick 2. Let's be honest, guys. If we want to go ahead and move up, we're going to have to give up next year's first. And we're probably still going to have to give up a second. And that's a minimum to move up. A minimum to move up. So I ask you guys the question this. Would you want to go ahead and trade up if you had to give up next year's first and let's say a second this year? Because I think that's probably the starting point for that conversation. And I mean starting point when I say starting point. I'm not so sure I'd take that move.
You have to be locked in to say that, dude.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you have to go that. I mean, we're on the Cam train. So it's very easy to say. Like, we don't have to give up too much, I think, to move up to 3.
No, but I don't know if the Browns would, and that's my concern. Like, everybody's acting as if the Titans wouldn't take a quarterback. If I'm the Browns, the Titans, I'm taking out a quarterback. Because I got Will Levis, who's got too much mayo in the goddamn coffee. And you got...
He's an amazing meme of the week.
Yeah.
Every week. It's fantastic.
And we got the Browns at number 3, who are trying to massage their way out of Deshaun Watson's contract.
Yeah.
And they've already adjusted his contract to try to figure it out how to, smooth it later on post Watson. So, yeah, this is to me, it's a pretty obvious thing that if you really want your quarterback, regardless of which quarterback you want, your best bet is talking to the Patriots. And I really, again, that's the starting point for me, guys, is first this year, first next year, and a second. You might have to throw in a third or something else, too. It may be that kind of trade.
Or somehow we keep Joe Shane, he pulls off some shade draft magic, and we trade up to 3 and somehow get the Patriots trade down to 3, moving the Browns up to 1, causing a big implication where we give away everyone else's picks.
Yeah. But I wonder, I mean,
probably not.
You also got to wonder the Alamo Bowl. Shedeur Sanders kind of Amber Hearded a little bit and shit the bed. And you got to wonder, is that going to hurt his draft stock? Or is that something people are going to forget? Because, like, let's talk about, like, again, I'm not going to bring him up as where we should have gotten him, even though I still think we should have. Michael Penix. The big thing with him was he had that first championship game against Texas, and he rocked Texas, and that really drove up his draft stock. Shedeur Sanders had the chance to do that in the Alamo Bowl against BYU. BYU, not Texas, BYU.
PU.
He was PU against BYU. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Like, that was not a good game for him. And you got to wonder, is that the kind of stuff that lowers his draft stock a little bit? And somebody that maybe isn't desperate for a quarterback. Like, let's be honest. The Browns want rid of Watson, but are they desperate for a quarterback? Or they go, we got at least one more year of Watson. Maybe we wait until next year to see what we got.
Which they might, even though,
yeah.
I mean, it might be, especially the past couple of years, it might be just more cost effective to have him sit on your bench and just pay him.
Yeah. I mean, here's the advice if the Giants, whoever the GM is going to be, would ask me, is I would say two things. One, and it depends on who the GM is going to be. We'll see, obviously. But one, if you trade up for a quarterback, you better know damn well he's the guy.
Yep.
Because this will be your job if he's not. Point blank. That's how this works. And number two, set your limit before you even start negotiations and don't go beyond it. Whatever that limit is. You know, it's almost like when you go into a casino, you go, okay, I'm willing to lose $300 tonight, $500 tonight, $600, whatever.
Yep. You leave your cards
past that.
Yep. You don't take your cards on the floor. Yeah, this is what you got. This is your cash. This is what you're coming to spend. This is what you're going to play.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing when you buy a car.
And I think in this case, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away.
Oh, there you go.
Run. Oh, yes, I'm doing a little Kenny Rogers here. But it's the honest truth, though. Like, that's where you got to figure it out, is what are these guys worth it to you? And then make your move based on that value. Whatever that value may be, because the value of Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward is going to be different to us, the Giants, as a whole, I should say, than it is going to be to other teams, because we're absolutely desperate for a quarterback, okay? Let's be very frank on that. We are absolutely desperate for a quarterback, as well as also a ray of hope for this franchise, which is what one of these guys would definitely be right off the bat. So, I guess I just don't want us to overspend. If he's the guy and you think he's the guy, go get your guy. But make sure you know it and make sure you don't overspend what you're willing to spend.
Yeah. Because once again, we're in 4 years of rebuild at this point.
We're in a 30-year rebuild.
Yeah. Don't trade away everything.
We've been rebuilding since 2011.
Sadly.
It's the truth. So we did something else with this whole scenario here for you guys, because a lot of people are now fighting nonstop on what we're to do with the draft, because now we're pick number 4. And let's be honest, while we're going to root for the Patriots, Texans, and Browns to win next week, there's not a single one of them expected to win. Granted, we weren't expected to beat the Colts, so you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. That's why they played the game. But
any given Sunday, kid.
But was that Beetlejuice or Berman? I can't tell.
That's actually a guy that I work with. That's
okay.
He always says it. It only gets harder, kid.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.